on my period. I've been faking it this whole time.
Nairobi City will never be ready for me.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for subscribing and for watching. I really appreciate all your comments and your emails. If you want to email me, please do. If you have any questions or if you have any suggestions for things that we can talk about, just go ahead and do so. Today I want to talk about my period. Funny story. So I got my period, my first period, when I was 12 years old. But before that, when I was in prep school, I was surrounded by a bunch of girls who developed a lot quicker than I did. So I was one of the last people in school to get breasts, to have hips. Hips I didn't get until maybe I was like in my mid-20s. And just basically to develop any body parts, I was a late bloomer, including my period. So when I was in prep school, all of my friends or all of the girls in my class got their period. And what I decided to do was that I faked it. I faked my period. I faked my first period. What had happened though, before that, is I used to go horse ride. I used to ride horses when I was a little girl. Because I've learned that you can't really break your hymen, something did happen in my vagina and there was blood that came out from my horse riding. And I actually thought that was my period. I kind of knew it wasn't, but then I went with it. So my mom took me to the hospital and they got me checked or whatever. And then the doctor kind of said, yeah, maybe she started her period. And I was like, yeah. So I told my mom that I had started my period, and she went and she bought me a whole bunch of pads, and then I had to wear them. I must have been like 11 or 12. Yeah, I think I was 11. Yeah. And she bought me all these pads and they were so uncomfortable because I don't know if you guys remember when we were little, like we only had like always pads and we only had like Stay Free. I think it was Stay Free at the time. But those things were humongous, right? They used to cover like, it was like a diaper. Anyway, I had tons of those, and then I had to count my 28 days to when my next period was coming and sort of ask for more pads. And this went on for maybe like 2 or 3 months, I can't remember. And then I came out. I had a coming out party. It wasn't a party. I had a coming out to my best friend and I told her, I'm not really on my period. I've been faking it this whole time. Because I felt so guilty. And she was like, me too. And it was so funny that the two of us had said that we were on our period just because everybody else in school was on their period. And come to think of it, I can't imagine how many other girls did the same thing because they were worried about, just like being late bloomers. It's not fun. I didn't get breasts until God knows how many years later. So anyway, fast forward a little bit. I actually got my period when I was 14 years old. I didn't know how much blood was supposed to come out. I remember just like changing pads every hour, even if I was just spotting. I didn't know what spotting was in those days. And flushing pads in the toilet. Those big, humongous, uncomfortable pads. Jeez, man. Generations have really changed these days. Anyway, fast forward to a little bit towards the end of 2017. Maybe the middle of 2017, and I lie, the beginning of 2017, and I made a decision that I was going to stop using tampons. So my evolution was that I started by using pads. My mother introduced me to tampons. I remember having a conversation with her where she wanted to help me put the tampon in. I was like, nah, I'm not letting you near my vagina. I mean, and it's so funny because if I was a mother or if I wanted to help, it's a gesture that I would ask someone like, yo, if you need some help, I'm happy to help you. And, not in any kind of like way or any connotations. It's just like, I'm here for you. And I get it, but then I'm just like, yo, stay away from like nobody could come near my vagina. And then I started wearing tampons maybe a year after I got my period. It was painful to insert this dry wad of fucking cotton into my vagina, and that was like the easiest thing. So since like I was 15 until very recently, like I'd been using tampons my whole life. A few years ago I stopped using ordinary tampons and introduced organic cotton tampons and pads into my menstrual cycle. And I've been talking to a couple of people who have been experiencing or experimenting different ways to experience their menstrual cycle. So I have a friend who believes very much in free flow. So basically she just lines her bed at night with towels and she just allows it to flow. There's people who have washable pads actually, and I know a lot of friends who use like cotton cloth pads and just like wash it, and then you're good to go for the next month. Those are some things that I would never do. I mean, after hearing how people experience their menstrual cycle, there's things that I'm just like, yeah, no, not for me, thank you. So over the years, I have been trying to experiment with a menstrual cup. This menstrual cup, I've tried several of them. The first one I tried, the idea is that this cup is supposed to collect your period. So there's many ways in which you can insert it. You can fold it like this, insert it into your vagina, and when it gets in there, ideally it should pop open and collect your period. So I tried this maybe 4 or 5 years ago and it didn't work. And then like a few years later, I decided, hey, I'm a little bit more in tune with my vulva and my vagina. Let me try again. And I tried again, didn't work. So somebody said perhaps this was a little bit too big and got me a smaller size. This cup is actually a lot harder. It's more rigid. This cup, on the other hand, this is much softer and smaller and, easy to fold, and my ring fell out. Easy to fold, and you'd imagine that, you put it in and, right? So I tried this a few months ago, and literally, I put it in and it refuses to open. It just refuses to open. So I tried again and it didn't work, and then I figured maybe these hard cups are not for me. So I went and I got this cup. This cup is from Nene Organics. This cup is extremely soft, right? It's very soft. It's very easy to wash. It's very durable. It's silicone. So I tried the first time. I fold it this way, put it inside my vagina, and it refused to open. A friend of mine said there's different ways to fold it. She said if you fold it in half and then fold it like this and then put it in, then it'll open. Yeah, it didn't work. Basically, my story is that none of these cups are able to open once they're inside my vagina. And I don't know if my Kegel game is strong or if menstrual cups are just not for me. I have heard a lot of wonderful stories about people who use the menstrual cups for their cycle, and I do highly encourage you to do it if this is your thing. But I have decided no more tampons, because actually the thing was that I didn't want to stick things inside my vagina anymore. So I think my body is just telling me, yeah, stop it. I also use only natural products, natural pads, 100% organic, 100% cotton. And this is because a lot of the pads that we do use have gel that they put inside the pad that is supposed to absorb the period. Well, that gel doesn't know, it absorbs fluids. So it doesn't know the difference between your natural fluids that come out of your vagina and the fluid that is the period. So you find that a lot of the times these tampons and these pads have been these chemicals that are added to them to help them be more absorbent, but what they're doing is that they're actually sucking out your natural fluids. And a lot of women will complain about vaginal dryness, and this is one of the reasons for vaginal dryness. So if you can, in Nairobi, in the supermarkets, they are available 100% natural pads and natural tampons, if that's your thing. Yeah, that's my story. If you guys have any suggestions on how else I could make these guys stay inside of me, then please let me know, because I will be really happy. Yeah, thank you for watching. Please subscribe and click on the notification button so that you can get notified every time there's a video that comes up. If this is your thing, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and please subscribe to all of our social media channels, because that's where I do most of my interaction. We're at The Spread Pod on everything, and send me an email if you have any questions or any suggestions. I'm open to it. Thank you for watching. Bye.